up, everybody? How you doing? It's JD Shabazz here for another topic on what is. And again, what is a topic discussion that we do every day or every week, and it's basically trying to encourage you to question everything. You know. So in this topic, it's going to be what is a step parent? You know. So that's this is a really deep one because I can see this from both perspectives as a child and as an adult, stepping into both situations as a stepson and as a step parent, in such a way. So, and first, I would like to just say God bless all the step parents out there, because being a step parent isn't easy and they deserve a lot of respect, because it takes a lot of patience, you know, to be a step parent and it's not for everybody to be a step parent, you know. And it's tough because and the children know that you're not the biological father. So there's always a little step of resentment there, just a little touch of resentment, sometimes there, just depending, especially when you're first getting started, to get over that hump, you know. But every situation is different, so, and it's not the same, but you have to realize that as a person coming into a situation with someone that has children, it's not your job, to clean up messes. It's not your job to fix what someone else broke. I know that sounds a little harsh, but it's true. It's not your job to fix what someone else has broke. In that situation before you. You know, it's not your job to be a disciplinarian. You know, sometimes it's hard because it seems like sometimes we're kind of going against the grain there and taking a step back and letting your woman kind of handle situations with the child. But it's not your job, to be the disciplinarian, to someone else's children. Because if it's not done right, it's going to cause a lot of friction between you and the children. And the children is already trying to adjust to you coming into the picture as a new person. So I would suggest that we be fun, be open, be the provider of good things and good times, because if you try to oppose your will, it's gonna go badly for you. So, like I said, I gotta, I see things from both sides there, because I know and I remember when my stepdad came into the picture, with my mother. I was about I was in seventh grade, and I remember in the beginning, I was a little resentful of him because I wasn't used to seeing my mother with anyone but my father. So I was a little resentful of him, at the time. So I wouldn't talk to him for like that first month. I wouldn't talk to him at all, So, and my mother kind of she could sense this and feel this, this energy in the air, So one day she came into my room, real calm and real nice, and she was just telling me that, he's really a nice guy, he's a nice person. You just have to give him a chance, And I appreciated, how my mom explained that, and I, always loved my mother. So when she said that, it made me kind of take a step back, and I wanted to try to at least give him a chance to really, just give him a chance to try to get to know him and open up with him, So slowly, I started to talk to him, and I remember one time he came downstairs and I was watching the basketball game and he started to watch the game with me and we got to talking about basketball and he told me that he played basketball himself, so I remember he told me that he would play at this park called Arlington Park, you know, and I started to go down there with him. I started to go down to this park with them on Sundays. They would play on Sundays, and I would go down there and I played with him. And I was only, like I said, I was in the seventh grade, and I wasn't all that good at basketball at that time. I was still kind of new to basketball, and I was trying to get it. I had hoop dreams. I was watching Michael Jordan, and I was trying to play, and I was trying to get, and they would play every day, and they had a lot of good players that played at this park. And my stepdad, like I said, he played similar to Jason Kidd because he was like a pass first kind of point guard. So he would always be willing to pass to you, and he would put me on his team. So and I appreciated him putting me on the team because I wasn't all that good, but he would put me on the team either first or second. I'd be the first or second player he'd pick because he would always be the team captain because he'd get there early and he had respect and he was. And so he would always pick me first. And I really appreciated him doing that because he didn't have to do that. But he did that for me, out of love, and he wasn't trying to be forceful of this. He just did it out of love and was trying to show me things there quietly. And again, I appreciate that. So that's how we built kind of a bond there with each other. And he wasn't only just a friend, he's a friend to this very day. But he's someone that I really